Look who's come to the Hollywood Casino at Greektown March 13th. Joe Gatto, how are you, man?
I'm fantastic.
I'm
How are
doing
you?
jazz hands
Hey,
for
we
you
do it.
this
You know,
morning.
we're happy to be here, man. We're living life. It's all great.
All right, I need to address something off Two Cool Moms right out of the box. I'm okay with pineapple on pizza. I listen. I'm okay with it.
And this
I'm
interview's
okay.
over. I'm sorry. Thanks so much for having me.
I had a good run. But you guys, you and Steve, man, you hit on so many nerves. And I wanted to compliment you because you could have gone a very comedian way where it would have been very superficial, but you're not afraid to go there. And it's really fun to listen to. And I can tell in the second season, you're getting more and more comfortable. Are you aware of that as you're doing it?
Yeah. Well, no, I think it just kind of happens. But, everything is, we've been through a lot, Steve and I, in our lives, and we're not afraid to open up about a lot of it, It all takes a comedic twist, of course, because we're comedians and I think laughter is our armor as well. But yeah, we're not afraid to dive in about certain things. I recently had spoken about some stuff. He teared up on a couple episodes ago. I was spoken about my dad and told him a story we hadn't heard, So it was, it's nice to do that though, because you need a balance in life, but also we want it to be an escape too. I don't want it to be super heavy or whatnot too. We want our listeners to kind of enjoy the ride with us. And I think that's really happening in the season too.
Do you not keep things? That's the wrong way of saying it. Do you kind of like, all right, I'm going to not share the story with Steve because I want to get a genuine reaction when you guys are recording?
Yeah, so he comes to New York to record and we'll not meet up for lunch before or anything. We'll wait to see the first time to see each other there. But I did have a couple of things in the armor that I wanted to tell him on the podcast. There was a story of I had sent him from his house. I had sent him this small Asian doll that me and Mark, our opener. Yeah. So we had FaceTimed him with the doll and we were laughing about it, being like, oh, we miss you, I'm joking. And he forgot. And we sent it to his house unmarked. And then he posted on Facebook about it, being like, who sent this to me? And I was like, this idiot forgot. Then Mark was like, I got to tell him on the pod. So to see his genuine reaction to that stuff. So sometimes I'll keep stuff in my pocket. Yeah, for sure.
The first date stories, I got a good one for you. You ready?
Yeah.
My very first date, my dad and I lived with my grandma. So she picked me up. She drove me to go get this girl. I don't even know it was middle school. I had the guts to ask her out to go see the jazz singer with Neil Diamond. Right? No, it gets better, Joe. So we go, I do, and you were talking, I'm doing this, the arm
stretch. Yeah.
An hour. I touched the back of her chair. I don't think I ever touched her shoulder. I didn't have enough balls to do that. So it gets better. Grandma picks us up in her Lincoln. She drives us back to her house. We get out of the car, big Lincoln, we're in the back seat. They got the white picket fence. I open up the gate for her because I'm a gentleman.
Of course.
I close the gate. She leans over the gate with it like that. I patted her on the shoulder and said, that was fun. And then I went back to the car.
Smooth operator. Look out.
I get to school on Monday and my cousin Connie's like, what the F did you do, Jim? I'm like, what are you talking about?
You tapped out.
I did. I UFC'd her and I didn't even realize it. Believe me, dude, she was so furious, but I was like, yeah, good job. Nice job.
You did great. We did great. We had a great time.
Do you find though with the podcast, because you guys are so open do you find people tend to be more open with you, like in public, just come up and start telling you stories or share things with you?
100%. People think I'm their best friend immediately when they meet me. Upon meeting me, it's really interesting because on the TV show as well, I was myself. I wasn't playing a character. So I'm in these people's homes for a decade. They see me grow. They hear my voice. They hear my laughter. They hear all these stories about me. They see my personality. I let people come up to me and they'll be like, as soon as I meet them, the first words out of their mouth is like, I have cancer. It's like, hey, how are you? It's like people are just there because they want to share that, my laughter, I've gotten them through with laughter and stuff. And that's not lost on me. I tell this story in my live tour, the Let's Get Into It tour, about I had gotten a flat tire in LA. It was like, 1 a.m. on my rental car. So I'm sitting on the side of the road. It's raining. I got my hat on, I'm waiting and a tow truck driver gets up. And True TV was predominantly played in like hospitals and prisons. Like that's where basic cable shine true, So I was sitting on the side of the road. This guy gets out, tatted up, bald, big dude. And he comes over and he goes, no way, Joe? I'm like, maybe. He's like, I was in prison for 5 years. I got out 3 months ago. Can I have a hug? I was like, yeah. He's like, you got me through, man. Thanks so much. And I'm hugging this guy on the side of the 405, And it's like so interesting. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then he changed my tire and he was gone. And that was like, it's really nuts just to see the effect that you have on people. That's not lost on me. That's a big part of it all because I know how important laughter is. And I've been through stuff and looked towards entertainment to get me through stuff and laugh, So all that stuff is welcomed. And I'm super appreciative of it all.
March 13th, the music hall where you're playing at. I know it's Hollywood Casino Greektown. The music hall's stunning. HollywoodGreektown.com/entertainment. I want everyone to get tickets for this show. How have you evolved as a comedian because of all this?
Oh, so much. I think, I entered into this new stand-up comedy as a new medium, and I really really enjoyed it. I had been performing live, my whole life, basically since 99 with the boys. I've been on stage in one thing or the other, but to get into it by being on stage by yourself was the first biggest difference for me, and then I have to craft the whole hour by yourself, and not do it as a collaboration was new too, because I've always worked collaboratively. But then when I did my first hour, messing with people, that special just got dropped on Hulu, and that was like interesting because it was the first time I've done it. So now with this new hour, it's like, okay, now what do I want to talk about now? What's the story I want to tell? And I've always been obsessed with how people become the people they are. And I look at myself and see this loud, bold comedian. And I wasn't this way at all. I was a geeky kid growing up. I used to do math.
So when was the first time you did stand-up? Like, when you honestly say, like, when you went up on stage and did stand-up?
Yeah, Appleton, Wisconsin in January of 2021, 2? Well, yeah, 22, right? 2022.
Growing up, you never were like, I'm gonna go do a tight five at a club or something like that. I mean, you, good Lord.
I never did that as a medium. I never had stand up and the thing, because I was always, it's all about, for me, for entertainment. It was all about being, making people laugh. And I had the show, and then I had the live tour with the guys. And then when the show went away and the tour, it was like, okay, what's next? What's the new way to do it? And to the credit of my team, they're like, hey, you're no stranger to a stage. You should try stand up. Get up there. You're pretty, entertaining when you tell stories. Try it. And I did, and I loved it. And once I crafted the hour, and I had something I was proud of, because that was the thing. I wasn't going to do something I wasn't proud of. That's for the baseline for me. Always was like, I'm going to put something out that I'm proud of. I don't want to just be out and be like, hey, here he is. So when I got this hour together, my first hour, I was like, oh, this is actually really good. And then it quickly evolved from just theater, from comedy clubs to theaters, and it became a theater show. And once I was on a theater stage, I found a lot more comedy because I'm so physical. I had a bigger stage, so a lot of my jokes really punched up, and, the rest is history. And now I'm out there with my second tour that started in September, and it's been fantastic.
Were the, I don't know if influence is the right word, but for comedians, I'm always curious, like, who do you listen to past and present and go, damn, I like what they're doing. I want to learn from them.
There's so many good stand-ups out there now. I mean, back in the day, my first stand-up show, I tell the story. My dad was in, we used to watch Home Improvement with Tim Allen, and Tim Allen's special was one of the first specials I saw. My dad showed me, like, hey, yeah. He was like, don't tell your mom, it was like one of those. But I love that. But like nowadays, like, I'm friends with a lot of stand-up, and there's just talent everywhere, Adam Ray, Chris DiStefano, Sal, Sal is a fantastic stand-up as well. He's one of the funniest guys I know. But there's just so much great stand-up out there, and even like the accessibility of it. You could either pop into a club or watch all these specials, and it's around, and you get to see it. I mean, Steve Byrne, who's a good friend of mine now, I enjoyed him as a stand-up before, and on my first tour, he actually came out with me and helped me. Like, he was there in Appleton, Wisconsin. Him and Mark, who's my opener, who are two great comics who have been doing it for a long time. And I was like, look. You gotta shoot me. I know they would shoot me straight. And I was like, do I have something here? And when I came back to the green room, I'll never forget it. Steve had a whiskey in his hand, and he just flipped me off. He goes, man, he's like, I've been doing this for decades. You walk up there, he's like, because I did 35 minutes my first time up. And he's like, you know what? F you. He's like, you make me reassess my whole life. Like, it was so funny, but he was super helpful in crafting the stories and, helping me work stuff out. So it was great.
I do think, like, well, to your point though, Joe, like, Mitch Hedberg, people have discovered him. All of a sudden, my friend of mine's like, the thing about club sandwiches. I'm like, do not quote Mitch Hedberg to me. He's like, no, you cut it. And then he's gonna do the bit. And he's like, God damn it, I'm doing the bit. I remember this thing. You've got to listen to this. I'm like, I know the guy. It was Mitch Hedberg. No. This is or this is Greg Warren. I'm like, no, we know all about the tuba player.
I know you're trying, and they're trying to do it themselves, and they're like, you're not. Right. I've heard it from the original, buddy. It's not as good.
You can't steal people's shit like you used to. You're gonna get busted 100%, on this stuff.
100%. Yeah, but like I said, I mean, there's just, the community of stand-up is just phenomenal. I've found so many great people inside this community too, and it's been really fun because I'm a fan of comedy too. I love watching people. I love to laugh. I'm a good audience member. I have a good time. I'm not one of those people that judges. Sits there and is like, oh, make me laugh. Like, I walk in ready to go. So I love that.
So you're here at Greektown. You're doing the show here at the music hall. How much of this is A, B, C, D linear, or how much of this is feeding off the crowd and you go where you're going to go?
I mean, first of all, I love Detroit, one of my favorite cities, literally, like, that I love out there. I've every time I come through, it's been fantastic. And, I get there multiple times a year. You have one of my favorite sandwich places out there. But I love, I'm a big Shinola guy.
Hold on. Which sandwich place now?
Tostanos, it's called. I think, yeah, it's
In
it's
Midtown.
yeah, it's in Midtown over there.
Okay.
Yeah, I
All
love
right.
I love that place. And then, yeah, I love Shinola. I actually had the opportunity to tour their factory, which was super cool, and see them, and their stores are always fun. But the show for me, really, I'm not a crowd work kind of guy. I don't get in there like I have what I do, but I do enjoy a town, and I'll speak about that up top, where I'm not the kind of comic that just gets to his hotel room, waits for showtime. Like, I'll get a cup of coffee, walk downtown, coffee and donut, walk around, do a little shopping things. And that'll
Right.
always give me some sort of story about the town, and I'll incorporate that into it. But I'm not a where you're from kind of comic. I have what I want to talk about and what I want to present as a polished show. That's really how I get into it. If something happens, I'll jump into it. Of course, I'm not afraid to improv. I've had things that have happened that way, and I've jumped in, but for the most part, it's not. It's really just, here's my hour and let's laugh together for an hour.
'Cause I would think because I know you and Steve. I really do listen. You and Steve talk about doing the podcast live. That's going to kind of change how you do things because you are in a room feeding off people, and all of a sudden you're like, all right, I'm going to go this direction. That can't help but bleed into how you do comedy, right? I mean, the
Yeah,
two
for
are going to
sure.
intersect. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm like I said, I've come from improv, so I'm not afraid to talk to people and take chances and find something funny to say. That's a lot of my process when I become up with my hour too. Like, if I have a joke and I think that's going to be it, I'll try 3 or 4 different ones and see which one's the best. And I know one will work, so I'll get out of there. But yeah, I'm not afraid of that kind of interaction as well.
I mean, you guys seem to be very much in the now. And obviously as parents and raising kids, you have to be in the now. We're in a world of raising kids where we're social media focuses on the past and the future, but not now. There's my big speech.
Okay.
But like, do you find it hard to stay in the now because you have so much going on?
No, I think I struggled with, people talk about balance and whatnot. And I don't think there's ever such an accomplishment. I think you put undue pressure on yourself if you try to, achieve balance. I think for me, more I've walked away with and through thinking about it and just evolving is focus. I think you focus on what you're at and what you're doing at that point, So when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids, when we're, we were just on vacation together, explaining my beautiful tan. We, we were just in the Caribbean
Just
together.
rubbing
And
it in.
it was all about, it was all about that, it was all about the fam. And, now it's back to work. So now we're focusing on this. And, even if, you spend a little time here and there, I think it's important just to focus on what you're doing. You'll drive yourself crazy otherwise, But parenting is the biggest, challenge because, I had it with my daughter last night. I got into this thing with my daughter because we were in a disagreement about if she was smart or not. She was doing this thing where she was saying, she was like, I'm not smart. Her brother's, very just intellectual, super, and he's younger. And she's like, he's smart and I'm not smart. And I was like, you're smart. She's like, you're just saying that. I got this whole thing with her. And I was like, she's 9 years old. I'm like, whoa. And there's these new waters I'm trying to, swim through here and try to help her with her confidence. And it's just, it's interesting. Those kind of things pop up and you just got to give it the attention it deserves.
You guys ever talk about FPS, favorite parent status?
And we don't call it that. We'll get a who's your favorite all the time. But I have a boy and a girl, so I lucked out. I could just be like, well, you're my favorite daughter. He's my favorite son.
A friend of mine, he had a daughter, and he would always talk about FPS between the two, him and his wife, and then up till she was 13, he ruled the FPS castle. And then at 13, he came to work one day and he goes, "She's gone." And what do you mean she's gone? It's like, she's gone. I've lost FPS and I'm not going to get it for years. He didn't see that shit for years, Joe. FPS was gone.
It'll come back, hopefully. It's like a boomerang. You just got to wait for it to turn.
It did, man. Cannot wait to have you here at Greektown, Hollywood Casino at Greektown. They're wonderful. Everybody there is just the best. You know that. Yeah. And Detroit's so much fun, man. So where we're going for lunch when you're here? Have you had a coney before?
No, I'm vegetarian, though.
We can get vegan ones.
Yeah?
Seriously. Yeah, they do vegan. Coney's the hot dog, like the chili dog with mustard onion.
Gotcha. Yeah.
We have vegan ones. We have great vegan restaurants in Detroit. We become like a little mini foodie town all of a sudden.
Yeah.
All the guys who didn't want to spend so much in Chicago are now opening places here going, this is kind of cool, man.
Dude, I mean, I tell you, Detroit is on the come up. I love it. I really enjoy it. I'm not just saying that. You say sometimes on these, I love this city. No, but Detroit, I really do.
I'm so excited to be in Dubuque.
What is that? Hold on one second here. Yeah.
What's the old sales guy when he looks at his phone and goes, "And your son Michael's playing soccer." Wonder, how's your wife Karen? Is she doing well?
Well, they're looking off to the side like, oh, yes,
right.
It's
that's the one.
Yeah.
Joe Gatto, big fan of all your work with the jokers. You
Yes,
are a joker.
you're going off the cap. You're impossible
Right.
pranksters. Your show was fantastic.
Possible prankster.
But
Big
no, I'm
fan,
excited. I
John.
hope you get to come out to the show. It's going to be a great
Look
time.
forward to it. Hey man, all the best to you. Keep doing what you're doing, you guys and Steve, and it resonates with a lot of people. And Two Cool Moms. Who the hell came up with the name?
I will take that. That was mine. Yeah.
Well
Two
played.
Cool Moms. Yeah.
All
Thanks.
right.
Thanks, Jim.
Joe, always, anytime, you're always welcome, man. And we'll see you here in the Motor City on the 13th. Thank you,
I
buddy.
appreciate it. Take care.